Hey guys, thanks for joining. Vats Iyengar is here. Mr. Hendrickson, what's up? How you doing? Hi Vastav. Hey man, how's it going? It's been a while. After almost more than 2 weeks, I'm back. So guys, welcome to Rock and Talk, episode 23. Tonight we have a guest. His name is Vats Iyengar. Man, he's an amazing guitar player, a very versatile guitar player, amazing singer. I've recently started following him a lot, and his contents are great. And he had to be here. Hi Jam Island Studios. Hi Keshav. Hi Gopan. Mr. Hendrickson. It's been a while. All right, just give me a moment. So we'll wait for another 30 seconds, and we'll start this off. Hi Keshav. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and bring in the guest, and let's kick this off. Brother, let's go.
Hey dude, how are you?
Hey, bro. How's it going?
Pretty good, man. How have you been?
Awesome. Nice to see you. And great
Great
to
to
have you
be
in the
here.
show, brother. Thank you. Great. So I think there's no echo to the viewers. If you guys can hear any echo, just let us know. Okay, Gopan has a question. How are you routing the guitar sound? Is it through OBS Studio? Well, it's not through the OBS Studio. Usually I'm using a a mixer. The guitar goes into the amp, from the amp to the mixer, and the mixer to the iRig, and the iRig goes into the phone. Right now, I spoke to a couple of YouTubers, and they say that the OBS is not supporting Instagram right now. So that's the story. Right. So, brother, getting
This is
back
not
to you.
my attitude. The phone mic is gonna pick up my shitty amp, so I hope it does a good job of it. The sound is just.
Right.
I'm just gonna play clean, mostly.
Cool. Even maybe I'll keep it clean as well. So, yeah. So, brother, let's go ahead and do a little guitar jam, a little guitar conversation, and we'll start this off. And maybe I'll
Sure.
shoot some questions. All right, cool. Let's go.
Oh, nice. I think when we play fast, the sound just goes away, dude.
Yeah, when we play fast, it just like kind of the notes disappear.
Okay. So it's just melodic stuff.
Wow, nice. All right, bro. So at least because of the latency, we cannot play together, but here's something that we can do.
Yeah.
Right. Cool, brother. So let's go ahead and talk about you a little bit. Could you take us back and tell us about your story and how you got into this?
I actually started as a singer, and I started learning a bit of guitar. The guitar teacher turned me on to this band, Guitarist, and I used to try and sing their stuff without instrument. So I lost my voice for a while. And that's when I started taking guitar seriously because I couldn't sing anymore. And then after a while, my voice came back, so I ended up being, both playing guitar and singing. So guitar actually took a backseat 2 or 3 times during my life. When I got my voice back again, stopped playing guitar for a while.
All right. So it was the vocals that you were inclined towards in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, it came very naturally to me, and guitar was always a big struggle, to figure out to play. But the time that I really started playing guitar seriously or practicing seriously is when I joined bands in college and stuff.
Okay.
And I wanted to write songs and show the guitar players riffs and stuff like that. But it would just be like, you know what, you're just the vocalist, just do it. When we have a song ready, we bring you in and then you just write vocal melodies and lyrics. And I didn't want to do that. Basically, I said, okay, if I have to get other guitarists to take me seriously, I have to guitar, I guess.
Right. So tell us which was the guitar that you were using in the beginning. Was it an acoustic that you were holding on to, or it was the electric guitar that you started with?
No, I started with an acoustic guitar and had that for a few years actually. And what it did, it made my legato really strong. I don't know if you can hear it with the so it made the legato really strong, but also made muting a real challenge when I'm went to the guitar. On the acoustic guitar, you don't figure out right hand, left hand muting and stuff because it's not that easy. So I only started playing electric guitar about 2 or 3 years after I already had the acoustic with me.
All right. Okay, I think we have a suggestion, a little issue with Vats audio, a little echo. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the echo too big? Can you hear yourself twice, Vats?
I can at times. Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear a little delayed after a while.
All right. So let me try this out. Yeah, a little muffled in voice. It's kind of breaks down some of the words, or maybe some of the lines are not clear, kind of thing, I guess. I think it's just a network issue or something. It's raining here.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear the echo as well. So, I don't know.
Okay, just a moment. Okay, let's see if I can take my some gadgets out of the phone. The echo should go off.
Okay, meanwhile, there's a question: maiden or priest? Okay, I was always.
Mr. Hendrickson always asks this question.
I was always a priest fanatic.
I think it's better now.
Yeah, I think I can't hear the echo anymore. Yeah, so to answer the question, yeah, I was always a priest fanatic because I wanted to do all that high pitched singing which I still do from time to time, that Rob Halford used to do. And my guitar teacher, the only teacher I ever had, that was only for a couple of months, but he turned me on to Judas Priest when he said, you know what, you should just sing like this guy. So yeah, I've just been a Priest fan forever since then.
There you
if I
go,
had
Mr.
to choose
Henry.
between.
Right, cool. Moving ahead, brother. So, tell us about. So, along with the singing, why was it the guitar, not any other instruments? And was that an instrument that was next to you, or like, I mean, you just came across in the beginning?
Um, I just okay. Initially, I just thought it looked really cool, and it does. And But after a while of it, I also figured. I mean, it's such an expressive instrument, right? Just like if you just
Yes.
bend and hold a note, it can mimic the human, like get close to how the voice sounds so much more than like a keyboard instrument can. And it had to be a melodic instrument because mostly my main thing was I wanted to write songs.
Yes.
So it couldn't be, drums or like a percussion instrument. So it had to be either guitar or keyboard. But I just figured after a while the guitar was, it's such an emotive instrument, and it's not like a keyboard playing can be really perfect at times, right?
Yes.
And even dynamically, it can be like sort of one dynamic. Guitar is really up and down, and all these string noises and things. I was really drawn to that, the sort of imperfection of guitar playing, because it was a lot more human to me, a lot more emotive. So that I think hopefully answers your question of why guitar, and of course it looks really cool, right?
Yes. Let's talk about this guitar. Is there any other guitars that you have, or is this the
So
one that you're working on a lot?
this is the guitar I use live and on tour and stuff because can't really afford to carry more than one guitar because of excess baggage and
Yes.
stuff. So this is an Ibanez Prestige 2550Z, I think it's called. That's the model number.
Okay.
And I didn't change any of the pickups, got stock pickups because these are pretty low output pickups, and I like low output pickups because
Yes.
especially because I like all the like the chimey sort of sound that you can get from these sort of middle pickup positions when you're
Yes.
combining the two single coils in parallel. So this is my main guitar. I have another Ibanez, an RG, which I changed the pickups on, which is just my backup. I
Okay.
mean, in case something happens to this, I use that. I also have a Variax Line 6 Variax guitar, which is in Delhi at the moment. And because of this COVID thing, I'm not able to, bring it down. So I'd sent it for repairs to Delhi a while ago, and
Oh.
it's just stuck there. But on recordings, I've often used a Telecaster that I borrow from on insignificant, especially the full length album that we did. I used a Telecaster, a Fender. That was the 60th anniversary edition, and I love that guitar. I
Oh.
wish I could buy a Telecaster, but yeah, most of the money goes back into the band, so it's kind of hard to save up for. So I always borrow it
Yeah.
from my friend.
Cool. Talking about bands, let's talk about your projects. So, as I know that you are a member of RAINBURN, and
Yeah.
it's just one band you're working on right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in one band forever because it was my band, as in I started the band. And also, I mean, you know how the indie scene works, right? It's not like we're
Yes.
overflowing with managers and booking agents and things like that. So a lot of this logistical stuff also has to be taken care of by whoever the band leader is. So the band
Yes.
leader is kind of a really terrible position. I wouldn't wish it on anybody because it's a lot of. It sounds like a really fancy thing, but it's a lot of non-musical work. Planning tours
Yes.
and rehearsals and figuring out what direction you're going in and things like that. So yeah, I think it's taken basically all of my time. I've collaborated here and there, like guested on some albums, the Diarchy album. I did some vocals on it, and things like that I've done from time to time. But and some live stuff. You had Nadu Narayan on this show, right? Bass player, Inner Sanctum.
Yes. Yes.
So I've been on stage with him a couple of times. You know, there was a Ronnie James Dio tribute we did, and a couple of other things that I've
Oh,
done with him.
that was
But
that was back
those
in
are just one-off things.
2016.
Sorry? Yeah. That
I
was
think
a long time
back
ago.
in 2016, wasn't it? Yeah, Ronnie James Dio
Yeah,
tribute.
it was at
Artist
Indigo.
collaboration.
Yeah,
Indigo
that was a
Live,
fun.
yes.
And they told me at
It
the
was
show
fun.
that I have to sing Children of the Sea. I mean, they hadn't told me before. And Girish Pradhan was supposed to sing that song, but he didn't make it. And they said, okay, here's the song, you have to sing this. Yeah, you know. So I had 10
Yes,
minutes to
yes,
basically
true.
figure out how to sing that song. And I had the phone with me on stage to look at the lyrics and stuff. So that was a pretty fun.
Okay. Yeah, I was there, and in the end, they announced that Girish and the Chronicles, the vocalist, didn't arrive. So
Yeah, they were stuck in somewhere in some other city. I think they missed their flight or
yes,
something. He missed his
yes,
flight.
yes.
So yeah, at the last moment they told me I have to sing there was "Children of the Sea" by Black Sabbath. So I was like,
Oh,
okay. And Nadu was on stage for that. A couple of Nikhil from Chaos, pretty
Nikhil
cool
from
people.
Chaos, yes. Right. Let's talk about RAINBURN, bro. So I've already got Alan in the show.
Okay.
He had his own, he had his own views on RAINBURN and how, I mean, what it means to him, and the way he
Okay.
saw it.
I
Would like
haven't
to hear it
actually
from
seen
you,
that.
sir.
I hope he wasn't. He didn't say any nasty stuff about me. I haven't seen the episode with Alan.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about RAINBURN. How did this happen?
I when I came back from I spent a year in England actually, just singing with bands and things like that up and down the country. And so, but I was only again still just the vocalist in the band, and I didn't have much control over the musical direction that I wanted. And
Yes.
I had some ideas of what I wanted to do musically. So when I came back to Bangalore, I was teaching guitar at a place, and there was a keyboard teacher at the place, and he said, "Let's form a band together." And it was him and I. So the first incarnation of Rainburn actually had. I was the only guitarist. There was a keyboard player in the band, and we did a
Okay.
few. I mean, mostly competitions and stuff with that lineup.
And when
Uh,
was this?
this was we started playing in doing the competition thing in 2012. So yeah, it was quite a while ago. But it was only in 2000, like late 2014, that we settled on this instrumentation. Two guitars and bass and drums. So that was about
Right.
I think September or August 2014, sometime around that period.
Okay. And that's how it kicked off. Right. Cool.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah. So and that's how it kicked off. I mean,
Yeah.
I've
So it
seen
took us a
RAINBURN
couple of years
once.
to settle on the kind of sound we wanted and the instrumentation and stuff.
Yes. When Alan was in the band, I saw RAINBURN once back in Indigo Live.
Oh yeah, we used to play that venue a lot.
Yeah.
So which
Yeah.
gig was it though?
I think there were this bands like maybe Neurosia was in the list, if you remember, or was it someone
Mm,
else, or
how many were there? A
any,
lot of was it like a festival or just two or three bands?
two or three bands?
Okay.
Indigo Live. Yeah.
Yeah, we played there.
So
Used to play there a lot. I don't even remember all the gigs that we did there.
yeah, I mean back in the
It was
time there
almost
were a
like
lot
a
of
house
gigs
band
happening.
there.
So sometimes I mix match with some gigs that happened on that day with this band. Oh, you guys played, right? No, we went on the other day. All right. Happens.
Yeah, I mean, even I don't remember, right? And I played the gigs, so I can't expect
Yeah.
somebody who attended it to remember.
So apart from the Fender guitar that you were talking about, let's talk about guitars a little more, and tell us if you have any particular guitar that is very specific and interesting to you.
Well, I mean, the next guitar I want to buy is definitely a Telecaster because a Telecaster is a really unforgiving guitar. It doesn't like Ibanez with the flat neck. I mean, you can, I guess, be a little sloppy and get away with it because you can go really fast. Telecaster sort of, if you're playing sloppy, it'll make it really obvious to anyone who's listening that you're being sloppy. And yeah, I mean, it's a little irritating at times because of that. But if you really play well, it's very rewarding. I mean, the articulation that you get from it, it's sometimes, when you're playing really fast through distortion on an Ibanez or one of these super strats, it's not very clear. The note definition kind of gets lost in all that speedy stuff. But with the Telecaster, if you're really playing properly, like correctly and clean, you can get a lot more definition, a lot more articulation out of it. So Telecasters definitely. I've looked at the Sir Telecasters as well. Those are also really nice. But I've never played one of those. But I think I would want a Fender Tele, and on the other end of the scale, I would love to have a Sir guitar, like one of their classic guitars, or maybe a PRS Custom 24. Basically, really expensive guitars that I can't afford. Those are all the ones that I want.
Yes, recently one of my students was asking me how do I get PRS guitars from USA, and he was asking me if it's all right to go ahead and shop, and the whole thing gets shipped, and I mean, you never know. So I just told him if you want to go ahead, just go ahead. He's a big fan of PRS guitars.
Duty is like ridiculous on you. If you really want one of those guitars, you'd better have somebody bring it back for you, or if you're going there, you buy it and get it back. So yeah, I mean, one of my students who had just started. He'd just been learning for 3 months. Was talking about buying a PRS, not the SE series, the Custom 24. Really rich kid, and I kind of told him, you know what, you're not playing is not at a level where you can appreciate a guitar like that. So
right,
okay that you can buy it, but you have to deserve the guitar as well. Some philosophical gyan I gave him, and I think he ended up not buying the PRS. He bought a cheaper guitar, so. It worked.
Better. Yeah, I mean, it's a fantasy thing. I mean, we had it maybe even after more than 10 years, 15 years. We look around, we surf around for new guitars or some old guitars that we used to be a fan of and never played, but we want them, right? I mean, that's the thing that's happening with them right now.
I mean, if you can't hear the difference between a PRS and a much cheaper guitar, then there's no point buying it, right? Just because you think it's the name guitar. It's like, for example, I still can't, people talk about the neck wood making a difference to tone. I don't really hear a difference. Body wood, yeah, sure. Because, mahogany, you could get a darker sound. Neck wood, I don't know I can't hear what difference it makes. So to me, I don't even think about what wood, in terms of sound, what the neck wood is on a guitar. Because if you can't hear it, it doesn't exist. That's it.
True.
Okay. Riju is my band. It's the other guitarist in my band. He has a question. Fender Custom Shop Strat versus PRS Custom 24. I think the kind of mindset that I'm in these days, and this answer might change a year later or something, I would go definitely with the Strat. I mean, I'm really going back to those kinds of guitars these days, one of the classic things. And Custom Shop Strat is going to be awesome. So definitely the...
Nice. So you formed the band RAINBURN, and looks like you're the guy who brings in the primary stuff before a song is, completed. I mean, you push in the initial stuff, and so is there anyone else who does the same in the band, or is it you and you're pretty specific about what you have to do with this song?
We've had, I think, some 15 people in the band already, and I'm the only, founding member left standing. Everybody else is gone. Whoever was in the first lineup, they've all gone. So it's been very different because we've had so many people coming and joining and leaving the band. So for the full length album that we did, and for the early stuff, there was an EP that we released. That was our first release, a Canvas of Silence, it was called. I wrote all the songs, and on the full length album, pretty much the same thing, the composition and lyrics. But we have I'm really excited about the lineup that we have now, and Riju, who's on this, session, it hasn't been a long time since he joined, and he's bringing in a lot of ideas. We have an amazing drummer that we just finalized called Neil, and Ravi, who's a bass player. So I think this next album is definitely going to be a lot more collaborative. I still think I'm going to be driving the main, direction compositionally, but there's going to be a lot of ideas from people. And Riju and we've already sort of co-written a song. He brought in the bridge for the song. So I think so far it's been me and, sitting on this couch actually and writing most of the stuff and sending demos to everybody with drums and everything. But now I think it's going to be really collaborative, and I think that's going to lead to greater results, song-wise for the band. So yeah,
Great.
full about the future.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to see what's coming up from RAINBURN.
Yeah.
And,
I'm also really looking forward to it.
and I saw your post where you were looking for a drummer. I think
Yeah.
that was a couple of months ago. And cool that you got a new drummer. And well,
Yeah, it
wishing you
was
all
a
the
really long
best.
search. I mean, because of the COVID thing, right? And everybody's lives are in upheaval now. So it was much longer the search than we anticipated that it would be, because everybody's lives are, jobs and everything it's all up in the air right now. So yeah, but we finally got one, and I'm really excited. I mean, I had a huge crush on, how you look at a girl sometimes and you say, that's the one I want. And when I looked at Neil's drumming, I was like, well, I want this guy in the band. And Riju was on the, can verify this. I think we all were like this. Like, when all of your friends look at the same girl and say, we all want this girl, it was kind of like that thing. We all looked at Neil's videos of his playing, and he was in a couple of bands in Canada. And we said, okay, we want this guy in the band. And in rare cases, you actually get the girl that you look at across a room and say, I want the girl. And that's, he's in this band's case.
All right, cool. Sounds interesting. So, looking forward to see a lot of collaborative stuff from each one of you. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, totally. Hi, Riju. So, right. So, brother, if you want to go ahead and show us a couple of things that's something that you would say your favorite, and could explain certain things that you do usually on the guitars.
Okay. So I do a lot of this, hybrid picking stuff, which I started picking up from, a couple of, I'm just going to get some space in it. So basically using the pick and fingers a lot, because I used to play a lot of fingerstyle stuff on acoustic guitar when I was learning, Simon and Garfunkel and those kinds of things. And, Scarborough Fair by Simon and Garfunkel, at the time I didn't know that they used a capo. So I at the time I learned it with all this stretchy.
Right.
So I actually learned it with the stretchy thing. I remember playing it live once, like in college, with this stretching thing, and I obviously couldn't play anything else after that. It was really, really difficult with the capo. So finger picking, and then when I started playing pick style, I found the way to, this hybrid picking, a nice way to combine this thing. And I think I was showing you this really nice blues lick that I picked up from a friend, which is this. It's kind of like a bluegrass music. I don't know if you've heard that country. It's like a country music thing. They get a lot of these almost banjo style playing.
Yes.
So there's a few, like there's this
banjo kind of.
And there was this. So there's a couple of things on. There's a RAINBURN song called "Suicide Note." I think probably our most popular song at this point. Where I play the parts, there's a clean part that I play with. So I played, if you can see my right hand, played with the.
Yes, the hybrid picking.
Because I'm singing over this, it makes my job a lot easier to, do hybrid picking. Because if I was doing
Right.
pick style, then I think the singing would be really hard to manage. So I do that, and then there's another riff. Sorry.
Too much effort on the right hand side. If you're
Yeah,
just
it's like
using the
I'm
pick
a
on
really
that.
lazy person in general in life, so I may like to take as many shortcuts as possible. So I just do this, and I can keep talking to you because there's not much effort. Rather than with the string skipping and all, it's going to be really difficult. So the singing then becomes really easy over this kind of thing. There's another riff. The problem is, with this shit amp that I have, distortion is going to sound terrible on it. But there's a riff in Suicide Note that I'm really proud of, which is a really heavy riff, and it's got this hybrid picking. So I don't know how this. Tell me if something. Can you hear the sound?
It kind of disappears.
Can you hear the sound?
It kind of disappears in the end, yeah.
Let me just try it really clean, the riff, but it's played with a lot of distortion. It's
okay.
So this riff is impossible, obviously, to play without hybrid picking because you're doing.
Wow.
Okay, it sounds a lot better with distortion, but then the my shitty phone mic is not going to pick up that sound. So that riff I'm really proud of, and it's got this weird. When we were writing the click track for this, it's 17/16. That's the time signature for it. So it's like a 17.
Is the time signature.
It's basically impossible to count. So you just have to play it with feel, because at that tempo it's impossible to count 16 notes like that speed. So yeah, those couple of things. Sorry,
that already sounds difficult.
Yeah, imagine having to write a click track for that. Like in the when I was doing the demo, I'm like, okay, I'm just counting like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm like, okay, what the hell is the time signature? I actually thought, let me just make it 4/4 somehow, so that I don't have to count the bloody thing to write the click track. So that riff I'm really proud of, yeah, because I haven't heard anything like that on a heavy tone, right, with the hybrid picking and on the top, bottom and top strings. So yeah.
Cool. So, sorry. We have another question from our friend Vastav. Hey, who are you inspired from?
Musically, I like a really big, diverse range of bands. I love the Beatles. I love the Who from that era. I love a lot of 70s prog guys like King Crimson and Yes, Genesis. And even the 80s, Queensrÿche is another big band that I like from the 80s. Sabotage, there was a band called Sabotage. And modern bands wise, I love, Pain of Salvation, Porcupine Tree. But I also like a lot of non-prog stuff like Jeff Buckley and Tori Amos and singer-songwriters and things like that. A lot of fusion guys like Alan Holdsworth and Sean Lane. So basically like a really big range of, and even some hip hop. I listen to Mad Villain and those NWA, those kinds of guys. So yeah, pretty much everything except maybe not so much. I don't think I've heard much country music, but apart from that, basically everything, I think.
Killer. So I think that answers Vastav's question. Right, bro. So recently, as I told you that I started following your page, and I saw a couple of contents, and some of them are mind blowing. For example, there was a video that you had put out where you were talking about how to deliver vocals. You know,
Yeah,
vocals and the high pitch and the screeching and growling and grunting and all those things. It was
yeah.
amazing, bro. So,
Thanks,
I mean, cheers to that. Like, just keep doing that, actually, and
thanks.
certain small lessons that you share when it comes to guitars. Like sweep picking was one of the topics that you had covered last time.
Yeah,
That's great.
recently I think I put something up on. Yeah, I teaching is the other thing. I mean, it's the main thing that I do apart from the band, and I love the that part of it. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's a little. It can get a little annoying at times because if you have a lot of beginners, you're repeating the same information. But of all the other, jobs around music, like you have people do, sessions work and sound engineering and things like that. Teaching is really, really fulfilling to me. I love communicating what I know and also learning, obviously, from the people that I know from. Yeah.
That was killer. And then and there's one video where you were singing. I think you've sang a couple of Hindi songs as well. And
Yeah, yeah. I used to do that a lot.
I have to say this actually, like it was pretty damn good.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I
really.
used to sing when I was much younger. I used to sing Hindi songs, and I grew up in a household. My sister is a very good singer. Actually, she's a better singer than I am. At least more naturally gifted. She just doesn't do it
Oh,
very regularly. But I used to do that a lot, and then I kind of lost touch with that. But I also took lessons in, Hindustani vocals very briefly, about 8 or 9 months. And if you know classical music, 8 or 9 months is nothing, right? I mean, it's a
yes,
really huge sort of ocean. You can't just dip your toe in it and come out with much. But yeah, from time to time, that part of it takes over, and I try to sing Hindi songs. And my mom loves it when I do that. So we're
yes.
perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't matter when someone sings really good. Beat anything. It's pretty cool. I heard it for the first time. I was like, man, there's quality in the voice. It's awesome. It's great. Thanks,
Thanks,
bro.
man. Thanks a lot. I should probably do more of that, like as a side
Why?
project, which I've kind of been contemplating for a while,
Awesome.
doing a side project with Hindi vocals, lyrics.
Right. Looking all right. Going forward, bro. Let's talk about some of the albums that really influenced you, or
Hmm.
some songs particularly.
Uh, this is just off the top of my head, because I was thinking of Insignify, our full-length album, the concept album, and one album that I really tried to copy the vibe from was Operation Mindcrime by Queensrÿche. I think that's a phenomenal, great concept album, and there's a song on it called "Sweet Sister Mary," which is it's a scary song. I mean, if you hear it at night, it'll scare you because it's about murder and like really weird things.
Cool
But and
stuff.
the concept is just mind blowing. And of course, Jeff Tate was used to be such an amazing singer, and I had the opportunity to see them live in New York at one point, Queensrÿche. So that was an album that really influenced me. There was an album. There's of course, like if somebody asked me what album would you take away to a desert island, you can only take one album. I'd probably say Grace by Jeff Buckley. Jeff Buckley's singing is just, and even his guitar playing is very unconventional, like really weird tunings and things like that, and really strange chords and progressions. So Jeff Buckley yeah, Grace would probably be an album that I'm really influenced by. There's
Uh,
one called Remedy Lane by Pain of Salvation, another great album. A lot of these are really elaborate, and some of them are concept albums as well. Uh, Yeah, I mean, there's so many of them. There's Inner Visions by Stevie Wonder, Abbey Road by the Beatles, and coming to more recent stuff, there's Automata 1 and 2 by Between the Buried and Me. And Automata 2 especially, they have a song called Voice of... Between the Buried and Me started as a death metal band. But the stuff they've done in recent years is just incredible. I mean, how does a band, if you see their entire discography, my mind is blown by how do you start from there and branch out this much and you still retain your essence. So there's a song by them called Voice of Trespass. If you check that out, it's almost like jazz death metal.
Oh.
I mean, it's a genre in itself. I can't even describe that song. It's so much stuff happening. It's like swinging, the swing beats in it, and then there's this death metal vocals and sudden blast beats in it. It's just crazy. So Between the Buried and Me, Automata 2, I think is a great album. I think it came out in 2018, a couple of years ago. Yeah, these are some of the albums that I really love.
Wow, awesome. So tell us about what's going on in your head when you're composing for RAINBURN. What are the things or elements that you keep in mind? What's the thing?
Well, I mean, I like to talk a lot, as you can probably figured out by now. And sometimes the person on the other end just hangs up. So, and there's always stuff left to say. So I figure that whatever's left over, I write songs about it. Because I'm actually only half joking in the sense that there's some things that you can only express through sound, or whatever your medium is. If you're an artistic person, maybe you write about it or, paint or do something else about it. So to me, RAINBURN, the stuff is things that I maybe either don't feel comfortable talking to somebody about, or I just feel that it's better expressed through sound, through the medium of sound and words. So pretty much I think that is the essence of music for me, and RAINBURN just happens to be the channel that I'm driving this through. Things that cannot otherwise be expressed. Concise answer for once.
Great, bro. Nice to hear that. All right, let's talk a little about guitars again. Let's talk about sound and gear. So we saw your guitar, and so what's down there on the floor? What's happening there?
Well, right now it's just this really crappy Marshall amp that I use for practice at home, and I have a couple of amps at home. Both of them are really, not suitable other than for practice. But for live stuff, I use Atomic Amps amplifier.
Okay.
And it's got amp modeling and everything in it. And I just go direct to the board with it. Most of the times I don't use stage amps. I just use monitors for reference. So I have two monitors because I'm singing also. And on one of the monitors, my guitar is much louder than vocals. And on the other monitor, the vocals are really loud. And so I rely a lot on our engineer, Tejas, who's our live engineer, to give me a good sound on stage, because I can't do any tweaking. There's no amp that I'm using at the back. So that's the live part of it. In the studio, I'll use anything to get a good sound. So I approach the studio things as do whatever it takes, and then live you have to figure out later, right, how to do it live, whether it's technical stuff or anything else. But for most of the last two RAINBURN releases, I've used bias effects and bias amps software. So I just go direct through an interface.
Wow.
And also used S-Gear by Scuffum amps for the low gain, medium gain kind of sounds. It's beautiful for the bias. Mostly is good for the high gain sounds. But I think on the next album, I'm going to go through Riju. Our other guitarist has an axe. So most probably, I think both of us will go through the axe effects for the recording part.
For the futuristic stuff. All right.
Which is looking really good, apart from the fact that we might not ever get to tour again because of COVID. But other than that, and everybody getting ill and suffering, things look pretty good.
All right. So as both of us are teachers, when it comes to the occupation thing, we are music teachers. Bro, go ahead and tell us how do you manage this time? I mean, what's going on? How do you manage this time between you on the other side holding onto the instrument and practicing, and there's teaching as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more time now, actually, because going out and socializing is almost zero. But I've also found that people who have a lot of time tend to make less strides in music. And it's weird, right? Because if you have so much time, you should, I mean, all of us, after this COVID thing gets over, hopefully at some point, all of us should come out being killer musicians because we have so much free time now. But I doubt that's going
Yes.
to happen because art and music don't exist in a vacuum. I mean, to me, meeting people is a big part of music because I take their stories and, I learn something from them, from their lives and whatever the way they think, and that informs the music. So if I lock you in a room for 10 years with a guitar, you might come out a really good guitarist technically, but I don't think you'll come out a really great musician because you can't shut out life and be a great artist. That's my view anyway.
Very
Uh,
well said.
so so yeah, there is a lot of time to practice, but I'm practicing less these days than I would in normal times. But the classes are happening online, so a lot of the lessons I'm doing are now online, which is yeah, I mean it's okay. It's sort of manageable, but yeah, I mean you don't. It's not the same volume of students that I used to have, and I'm sure you found the same. It's sort of a similar story with you that it's not probably not as many students as you used to
Yeah.
teaching.
Yes.
So
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's just like boarding on and off. You have some old students, one of them leaves, someone new comes in, or there is a gap. It's always like that. Some kind of some kind of story
Ye-
going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty interesting time if you'll take the optimist's point of view. It's an unprecedented time. Like nobody alive has seen this kind of time, right?
Yes.
Unless you were alive maybe during the Second World War in one of those countries where you had to be indoors, for a long periods of time. But otherwise, I think, yeah, it's a pretty strange time to be alive. Depends on it's a shit time to be alive or a interesting time to be alive, depending on whether you're
Exactly.
feeling, pessimistic or optimistic.
True. Right. We have a friend here, dissident Siddharth. He says was supposed to audition for Rainburn but had exams.
Oh,
That's a big
for drums, right? For the drummer position,
for the
I'm
guitars, I
assuming.
guess.
Oh, okay. That
Siddharth
was
is
a
the
long time
guitars.
ago.
I
We
think
had the
so.
guitar
Yes.
auditions last year, I think. Riju might remember. Was it Riju? Was it November? I think it was November last year. Or December. Could have been December also.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah, for the guitars. Great,
yeah, that
bro.
was
We're
a while
almost at
ago.
the end of. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
You were
sorry.
saying
The
something,
guitar
bro.
auditions are a while ago.
You have to
Nice
do
name,
recommend.
Dissident. Dissident 1998. I like the name.
Yeah. So Siddharth was in the show earlier, a few episodes back.
Oh,
Yeah, amazing guitar player.
I see. I should check
That
out
was
more of.
during those times, November and December. I think that was last year.
Okay. Yeah. It was last year,
Great.
November.
So brother, we're almost at the end of the show, and the time just flew off. Well,
Hopefully, yeah. Hope the audience felt the same way.
I hope they enjoyed this time. Great. So
Yeah.
one last question, more like if you want to give a special message to the rockers out there, or maybe beginners. So what do you have to say?
When I was a kid, I memorized so many impressive things when I used to dream about being interviewed. That because they always ask for the last message, and I said, okay, I'm going to say this, and everybody was like, whoa, what a cool guy. But I forgot all of those things. But I especially during this time, to musicians, if they're listening, it is a difficult time to be an artist, right? Because there's the outlet of our expression is kind of gone for now, which is playing in front of an audience. But I think the normal times, or there's going to be some kind of normal. I mean, the world cannot survive without live music and without music in general. So hopefully, all of us can pull through, support each other, buy each other's merch and music through this difficult time, and we'll all one day be attending concerts again and look back at this time and say, wow, okay, we went through that and now we're back to this great time. So I'm saying this to myself as much as to everybody else, that I hope we can all support each other and ride through this difficult time. And
Wow.
yeah, not as impressive as the skills I'd memorized as a kid, but I think probably has more meaning to just do it. More as
Yeah, and the kids don't have school these days, and in a way, they're kind of learning a new dimension of education through online system. And
yeah, I feel really bad for them, but I mean, school and college even is supposed to be a time you make friends, really good friends, a lot of times during in those times in your life, right? So yeah, it's a weird time, weird for everybody.
Strange times. Great. So, all right, brother, you want to jam a little bit and say goodbye to everyone? Let's do this.
I don't know if this whole, I mean, because we can't jam together, right?
Yeah, just the same thing in the beginning, what we did, maybe. Just a little play around,
Okay. Sure.
noodling around. So, I'm just going to put on this into the phone and let's see. I think you're going to.
This Tejas, our engineer, is just joined.
Hey, Tejas. Right, I think you're going to hear some echo now, but this is just for the setup of the guitars. So
yeah, whatever I play is gonna get echoed. So if I make a mistake, people are gonna hear it twice.
Well, that's a delay that Instagram has fixed probably for the live.
Yeah. You got the. Is my. Yeah, my voice is echoing. Is the guitar also echoing?
I think with the guitars, with the guitars, it's going to sound cool anyways because there's this delay effect, maybe. I think
like a really long Pink Floyd kind of thing, right?
Okay, seems like there could be this long delay that's happening, right? Okay, there's a little bit, just a little bit. Okay. All right, let's go.
Yeah, that's gonna happen now. So I can hear that. we have the most number of participants now. Better not stop. Nice licks by both. Thank you.
Well, bro, killer licks, killer jam. I
That was
really love
fun.
the way you play and the way you project your thinking and thoughts into the playing and handling the instrument in a way. That's great. It's something. It's something to sometimes it's inspirational. Sometimes you get something to learn from, and it's really
Thanks,
nice
man.
to.
And I loved some of your licks as well, right now, especially the last one where you were doing all these outside things, romantic sort of stuff. That was really cool.
Thank you so much. This is great. It was great having you, and
Thank you.
maybe if times are flexible, maybe we can meet in person and hang out and just share licks or maybe just jam.
Yeah,
So
that would be awesome. We should do that. I think
yes,
that's going to be really cool. Thanks so much
awesome,
for having
great,
me, and thanks to everybody who
welcome, bro.
tuned into this interview.
Great. To all the viewers, thank you very much for sticking by. I'll let you know who the next guest is for episode 24. Well, this is going to happen on regular basis now. I took a little gap in between, but I'm back now, and let's kick some ass. All right, so brother, in the end, you want to say something?
Just thank you for having me. This was great. A lot of fun. Even my dog behaved. Usually, she doesn't sit silent quite this strong. I think even she enjoyed the interview. Or she just doesn't care anymore. But this was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. And I look forward to the next guest. And I'll be following your channel and interviews quite regularly
Great. Thank
from
you
now.
so much. Thank you so much, and it was great having you. Of course, this is an honor as well. This is great, and
You're too
beautiful,
nice.
bro. Always nice to jam with someone who's really into that, who's still got the fire kind of stuff. Right. So, brother, I'll see you some other time. Till then, good night to everyone out there,
See
and
you.
good night to you too.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.